Okay, so in this video, I want to talk about a couple of different things. One is going to be the mapping of the highlights and shadows, and that is what I'm doing here. So I'm just outlining first the basic lines to define the nose, and now I'm going through and using a dotted line to just show me, to reinforce where the highlight shape is and the shadow shapes. And once I have those in, when I do the sketch, I'll have everything sorted out already. I'll know just where to put all of my shading, my highlights and shadows. So that's what I want you to try for this drawing. For one of your nose drawings or both of them is mapping all of your highlights and shadows, and see how it helps you. The other thing here, as you can see, I'm turning the image upside down. So this is also going to engage my right brain thinking, the abstract, and help me not think of it as much as a nose and just shapes. I'm just looking at shapes. So then to start the sketch, using angles, finding the angle and just using a straight line. Don't worry about the shape of the line yet, if it has like little dips and curves in it. But for the most part, just starting with straight lines, and then also figure out proportion. So using your pencil to measure the proportion of one thing to another. So here I found the bridge of the nose was the same as from the tip of the nose to the tip of the nostril, the outer edge of the nostril. So I measured those two. And now I am adding in the detail of the line. So just curving things out, adding a little dip there. Okay, creating an angle and creating an area where things line up. So finding the edge of the nostril, like where it bends, how it lines up with the tip of the nose. And then I draw a line between them, and there's an angle to that line, and I sketch that in. It helps me figure out where those dips are going to be. All right, so now just going in, trying to be really light about putting in the highlight shapes. And it's just like you're sorting things out before you get started. It really helps you to be clear about what you're doing, where you're shading. You just get to, organize yourself first. Organize your thoughts and where things are going to go, and then you can be more, relaxed when it comes to putting in the shading. And then when it comes to the shading, I want you to remember 3 passes. I mean, a lot of times there's more than 3, but 3 basic passes to get you going. The first pass, start where the darkest darks are and just lay those in. And again, you're holding back on the pencil, so you're not pressing hard. It's just like really lightly starting to build up your darks. So I'm going here with the darkest darks to start. Then I'm going to go back, find where all the medium shadows are, and block those in, just like shade those shapes in. Okay, so we've turned the image upside down. We did the mapping. We found the angles. And now I want to talk about the edges of your shadow shapes and just edges of shapes in general. So some places there's going to be like a fade out, a soft edge to the shadow, and sometimes there's a hard edge. To figure out where these, things go, that's the important part. So sometimes you're going to want to fade out a shape, and sometimes you're going to create an edge. Like there's a hard edge around the shadow of the nostril. I want to create an edge next to the bridge of the nose. So I'm going to shade to the right of the bridge of the nose. So wherever you have a line, you decide, especially if it's like you're outlining your drawing, decide if, look at the line and say, okay, does the shading go to the right or the left of that line? Which side is darker, the right side or the left side? And that way you fade out that line. It eliminates the outline of things. The other thing to keep in mind is shadow within a shadow. So as you develop the drawing, you're going to look at your shadows and you're going to start to see there's a little darker area within the shadow shape. So here I just outlined that little darker shape, and now I'm going to go in and add another layer of shading to reinforce that darker shape. So this is what really gives the drawing dimension. So if you can, as you're developing, once you start to see where the shadow shapes are, and within the shadow shapes it gets darker in some areas, put that in. And finally here, what I'm doing is only shading. I'm shading around very lightly around the highlight. So if I really want that highlight to stand out, I'm going to separate it from the rest of the drawing. So I did a little bit of light shading around it. All right, so there you go. And I hope this was helpful for you. Just let me know when you submit your drawings. Let me know how it went for you. And yeah, have fun.